IPMNation.com.
All natural being. Warning, all natural being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Don't get at me, right? Welcome to All Natural Being. It's Brian with you here live today on All Natural Being. And I want to thank you for yesterday. As I said, yesterday I had to do a tape show real quick, had to run to do a commercial. So I was recording it while I was driving, and I apologize for the audio quality. And just for the fact that, I'm fired up that we could do a live show. So I try to make sure that that's going to happen. It'll happen today. It'll happen tomorrow. I do what I can. So thank you for putting up with my crazy schedule. If you're listening, thank you very much. If you're listening at 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. to the rebroadcast, or the next day at 7 a.m., thank you very much for that as well. We're still, every morning. Let me just click over here before I say this. I like to listen to what comes on, what's on IPM Nation before they throw it to me, so I have an idea and I go over. And I have to tell you, I'm amazed every morning. 2 bits of breaking news. My mugshot's back up on IPM Nation. I don't know what happened there. Mugshot's back up. And secondly, I always it just brings a smile to my face to see that we're still number one. So just every time I go on IPM Nation, I look and I go, you kind of wait, the top 10 shows, and you kind of scroll a little bit, and then you go, still there. And you know why I think we're the number one show on IPMNation.com? Because if we had to distill this show down to one sentence, I say you should let yourself, you should let your life go straight to your head. That's what I think. And that's why I champion. That's why when my something to believe in, what's my something to believe in? Great question. You know what it is? You. You're my something to believe in. You are. And that's why I think the show is number one, because when I write this show, I write it. We're throwing terms around. I write this show, right? Why do I write? When I get together and put this show, the time I spend kind of cobbling some things together, I always do it thinking about you. The all-natural you, the superhuman you. I did a radio interview this morning for a radio station out of New York, and they said, well, how did you become an outdoor survival expert? And I go, well, have little kids. The screaming, the hollering. That'll drive you out into the woods. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought about becoming a survival expert was because I like the idea of the individual human mind against all of nature. Not just my mind, your mind. And when you're out in the middle of nowhere, as we've said before, all these things, Mother Nature, she really cares for you. No, she doesn't. She's a homicidal maniac. Oh, now, Brian, you can't mean that, Mother Nature doesn't have your back. The only time Mother Nature has had my back if she's holding it in one hand and a knife in the other. Well, but now, that's not all doom and gloom, right? Fate is here, as we said yesterday. Fate's here to be a bully. But you and I are here because we're so capable of beating back that bully once we channel our all-natural being, once we channel who we ultimately are. There's nothing fate can do to us. There's nothing in the universe, nature. We're here for a run in the labyrinth. We're here in the garden of the mortals, and how that just can't thrill you to pieces is beyond me. So that's why I say you should let your life go straight to your head. And as I also mentioned yesterday, I think, you ought to take life personally. People say, you hear the self-help industry tacticians. Oh, you can't take it personal. I think we should take it personal, and I think you should let life go straight to your head. Because I think you're the gig. You're the deal. I think you are already, it's popular, oh, I'm a badass. Absolutely agreed. One little caveat. When you channel your all-natural being, when you channel your inner superhuman, you're unstoppable. That's my take. That's what I believe. That's what I believe in you, which is why I'm on your side even when you're not. So I want to thank you for giving me an hour a day whenever you listen. Because this show isn't for everybody. Say it all the time. Isn't for everybody. You're a part of a rare breed, of an elite team. I call it the kindred. A 1% of cutting-edge cognitions. Because you're not constantly looking outside of yourself or some future date on a calendar. You're looking at where your feet are right now. And you let that go to your head. You know who you are. You know where you are. You know who's gunning against you. And you know what you're going to do about it. So I'd kick back. I'd relax. I'd have some fun. I'd let a smile come up to your face. Because you truly are something to be proud of. Now, that doesn't mean that times in our past that we're, I wasn't very proud of my actions. Me neither. I got a laundry list of stuff that I wish I had handled better in the past. But that doesn't mean you can't be proud of who you are. Someone sent me an email the other day going, what do you think about dieting? Huge fan of dieting. Huge fan. As long as we're talking about cutting out toxic people in your life. Right? As long as we're talking about cutting out some of the walking, talking Venus flytraps, absolutely a friend of dieting. You mean the ever-circling pits of quicksand that are your critics? Absolutely a friend of dieting. Other than that, I'm not really sure I dig the concept. Because, can I be honest with you? I think at times, and I'm guilty of it. You ever diet? And for all the wrong reasons? You have to admit, we eat sometimes for all the wrong reasons. So I'm wondering, maybe if we have a diet, maybe we don't need to. Maybe we don't need to. We look at all these things we're doing, and what does that mean? Why is it that we have to constantly worry about the way we look? Or because we're trying to fit in with other people? Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should let who we are go straight to our head and ignore everyone else telling us how we should look, how we should feel, how we should act, what we should do. Maybe we should. Because we spend all this time running around, if only I'm X or Y or Z, then everything will be great. Then I'll let my life go to my head. I say let your life go to your head right now. Dieting, which has been really great. If I had like a cookie right now, I could take a bite of, but I didn't bring it up. All right, well, everyone, all the things that I want to lose, because then I will be special. Then I'll feel attractive to other people. Then I'll be charismatic. Then I'll be happy. I'll be fulfilled. I'll be all these other things. I say let who you are, let your life go straight to your head. Be proud of who you are. Even if you're just amazed at how your body works. I've said this before. Jump on Google. Look at how your heart works. Look at how your lungs work. Your kidneys. Any other aspect of your physical body. Look at how it works. Oh, it's just my eyes. Well, study how your eyes work. Because there are a lot of people that will say, I can't let my life go to my head. Sure you can. Oh, I don't want to be a hedonist. Man, it's a pretty good gig. 20 minutes a day. Oh, I don't want to be a narcissist, Bri. Are you suggesting that I should just fall in love with myself? Let me just say, yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting. For 20 minutes a day, one 20-minute victory. What could go wrong? 20 minutes, 1/72 of your day. Let who you are go straight to your head. Walk outside like you're working the red carpet. Like you're living the rock star life. Right now. Why couldn't you? What's holding you back? And that's what I'd like to focus on today, right here. What would happen if you let you break loose? What would happen? Instead of all hell breaking loose, what if all you broke loose? What would your life look like? What would it feel like? If you, for the next 20 minutes, could just absolutely be thrilled, what would you do? Now, if that little voice kicks in and goes, oh, I couldn't let that happen. All right, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. No one's saying run off and join the circus, become a hobo on a train, none of that kind of stuff, right? Just What would, for the next 20 minutes, what could you do to let your life go straight to your head? What would you do? Where would you be? How would you act? What would you be thinking? What would you be feeling? You most certainly deserve that. If you're here, you deserve it. Would you ever listen to some of the things we say to ourselves, some of the thoughts we allow ourselves to have about who we are? So where do you get off having those kind of negative thoughts about yourself? Where? People say, oh, Brad, that's just reality. No, in fact, it isn't. Because if your reality isn't that you're already a rock star, you got a faulty reality. People say, oh, just the circumstances in my life. No, it's not the circumstances. It's your focus. It's your focus. We've talked, and I know that this has become popular of late, and let's just do this. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to run a quick break. We're going to come right back.
IPMNation.com.
IPMNation.com. Again, my thanks to the good people at IPM Nation, Matt, Jen, everything they do. Keep me up, keep me running, keep us on the air. Also, I want to make mention of the fact that you say to me every day, oh, Brad, the numbers are really growing. And I thought today as I got this email about, oh, have you seen The Sea of Trees? The new movie. Matthew McConaughey made $2,700 in 5 days. So the good news is we actually have more listeners to the show than people that have actually seen that movie. So that's good news, I'm told, right? So again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, listening to what we're all about here at All Natural Being. And I will tell you every day, I promise, I get texts or emails or calls from someone saying I have friends that I wish would listen to your show. I don't know I don't know how to get. We just say, look, I would love it. Come on by, listen to a podcast, which I guess is technically you could call the rebroadcast of our shows in the evening. I would love it. And if you have a particular friend that's coming on by, let me know. If you know they're stopping by in advance, we're not going to throw any names out there, but we can kind of focus on maybe something that they're going through in the moment. But always know that the goal of this show is going to be to suggest that they let life go straight to their head. All right, now, another thing. We're talking about what we should let go to our heads. Excuse me. And then those things we shouldn't let go to our heads. So, I want to talk about the tale of two universities. I know you're thinking, Bri, you're such a fan of college education. Oh, you kid are you? But I want to talk about the tale of two universities. One I heard about the other day, but then when I saw this morning, and I'm not throwing anyone from this particular university under the bus, in case there's anybody listening from this particular university. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's not even mention the university name. How would that be? We won't even do it. I'll be taking a report from an investigative reporter, Amber Athey. Sorry for the name. But it's talking about a major university. It says, quote, students at this particular university are being encouraged to use only language that is, quote, helpful and, quote, necessary to look, you can't write this. This is from the the halls of higher learning, that they should only use language which is helpful and necessary to avoid committing microaggressions. Microaggressions. Article goes on to say, the display, which is a part of the school's, quote, Language Matters campaign, also includes handwritten definitions of the 3 types of microaggressions. Well, good thing, because what's a microaggression? I had no clue, so good thing they came out with a flyer listing potentially offensive words and phrases. You gotta love it. That's some phrases, some things. Right? Because why? Because, quote, victims of microaggressions are more at risk for illness and a decreased immune system. Well then, let's just jump right in. Just as a part of the university's campaign, the bulletin board instructs students to ask themselves whether their choices of words are, quote, true, right? Because everyone knows what the truth is. Helpful. Well, that's not too generic a term. Everyone knows what's helpful. Inspiring. Make sure your words are inspiring. Well, there's a dictionary definition, right? Oh, and that they're necessary. Oh, and that their words are kind. So they got to be true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind. Sure, why not? Before even speaking out. They don't even want you using potentially offensive terms, and then they list some of these offensive terms. And they talk about, quote, this particular board, right? Language Matters board, and they posted this board in a major university, which I'm assuming you pay tuition to go to, but major university, they don't want you to be involved in these microaggressions because they lead to micro assaults, micro insults, and micro invalidations. So they have a whole list of terms. We're not going to go into it here, but we want to make sure that people aren't offended. And they have a bias prevention education team. Oh, doesn't that make you want to go back to school? Come on, be honest. Part of the Language Matters campaign is designed to make sure that we don't use negatively charged words. And that because, quote, they're creating a damaging environment for all of society. Microaggressions, micro-assaults. I didn't know there was such a thing. Micro-invalidations. All right, so here's where we go. We've got this university on one side of the spectrum. Okay, so you get it. You got to watch everything you say because you don't want to insult, you don't want to invalidate, you don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. And they have a whole list of things that constitutes, you ready for this? Hate speech. Hate speech. Now, flip side of the coin. This university, I will mention, right? Because there's no sense mentioning their name. No one will feel like they're being thrown on the bus. NPR story that I heard the other day, which made it absolutely necessary to share this with you this morning. NPR story I heard the other day, University of Chicago. University of Chicago tells freshmen it does not support trigger warnings. David Shaper reported on All Things Considered, quote, the University of Chicago is welcoming new students to campus by warning them that they might hear things that make them uncomfortable. Say it isn't so, Windy City. Quote, a letter sent by the school this week tells incoming freshmen to butch up. I may have added that in. Sorry. A letter to incoming freshmen tells them that the university does not support trigger warnings as a part of its commitment to freedom of expression. Dear class of 2020, the welcome letter from the school's dean of students begins, And it goes on to explain that the university commitment to freedom of expression and inquiry, no one's going to be able to touch it. Students, quote, are encouraged to speak, write, listen, challenge, and learn without fear of censorship. So let me get this straight. One particular university loves the idea of political correctness and loves the idea, far from your all-natural being, loves the idea of you of perpetuating your already clinically thin skin. They want you prone. They want you running around acting like a pincushion. This is a college. Listen, by the way, this is today. I'm taking this report right from the other. This is a college today of alleged higher learning that's worried about micro assaults, micro invalidations, microaggressions. And then University of Chicago goes, look, if you're worried about microaggressions, I don't think you should come here. Which is great, because if you've ever been down on Lakeshore Drive, like on a Friday afternoon, we don't want these people clogging up Lakeshore Drive. You try to get somewhere, it's like impossible. There's a quote, a tweet, I guess you would call it, a welcome letter to freshmen. The college made it clear that it does not condone safe spaces or trigger warnings. So let me get this straight. A trigger warning is for people, a crutch, some bubble wrap, a blanket, like if you're Linus and Charlie Brown. It's bubble wrap for people with thin skin. Trigger warnings. Safe spaces. Oh, yes. I say we have to have a safe space. Well, why could that be? All right, if you're still listening, I see we're having a difficult time with the stream this morning for some reason. Let me just look over here. It looks like it just cut out. So, oh man, doesn't it figure? That's probably the university. I'm probably told that I'm guilty of microaggression. So they go ahead and let's see this. Go over here, connecting. Let me run a quick diagnostic check. No, it looks good here. Looks good here. All right. Well, there we go. Says we're still on. No, we're knocked off again. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Accept my apologies if you were listening live. Now you'll be listening to the tape version. We're going to go ahead and run through it. Doesn't figure. The one time, all right, talk about microaggressions. We are having a difficult time, although it says we're connected to the internet. Apparently we're having a difficult time keeping the signal back up. So we're going to go ahead, run with the show, and if you were listening live, let me apologize, and we'll go ahead and make sure everything is tight and ready to go for the broadcast later again at 5 o'clock or again at 8 p.m. Don't know what's wrong with the internet, not a cloud in the sky, nice and sunny, says we got a full signal, but for some reason, maybe there's a storm between here and IPM, I don't know. But it says for whatever reason that our signal continues to drop. So again, I apologize. We'll go ahead and keep recording it. So here we go. Back to our article about the University of Chicago. And let me say, this other university, not that far away. Even if it's not that far of a drive. But they're worried about coddling their students, their halls of higher learning, making certain Yeah, I'm with you. I just got a text, 331-684-7685, 331-684-SOULWTH. Am I listening to the same show I started on? Well, I sure hope so. So let me do this. I don't know what's going on with the internet, but I see that it keeps cutting in and out. Let me take this opportunity to once again thank Comcast. All right, but let's do this. So, yes, apparently, COMCAST. Let's do this real quick. Comcast, let's do a quick speed test. Because we are losing the internet signal, it looks in and out. So again, my apologies. I find I'm doing that a lot whenever it comes. I find that that's happening a lot when it comes of late, and this darn internet. So let's just do this. PEEDTEST. And doesn't it just figure it comes when they're talking about microaggressions? All right, let's look and see. It says for what reason the connection is having a difficult time. It keeps reconnecting itself every 10 seconds. So we're going to go ahead, push on with the show. It says our internet here is great. So I don't know, maybe there's a storm. Is there anything going on the East Coast, somewhere between here and the East Coast at IPM Nation? It says we have great speeds. Everything's working good. I don't know why all of a sudden we're having a difficult time getting the signal up, so my apologies again. We're going to move forward, as unfortunately we've had to do a few times here in the past. We're going to go ahead and keep building for the show that will be the taped portion of the show a little later. So again, man, this shows why sometimes you go, why don't you just do a podcast? Wouldn't it be easier just to pre-record this in advance? Because I'm running all the tests right now. It says we got great internet here. Maybe there's a connection problem between here and IPM Nation. So, again, my apologies. All right, so let's get back to it. We got 30 minutes left to run. Let's see what we got going here. So, University of Chicago does not support so-called trigger warnings. An alert to students that there will be discussions or speakers that they might find offensive. University of Chicago will not, according to the article, cancel controversial speakers, and it does not condone the creation of intellectual safe spaces where individuals can retreat from ideas and perspectives that are at odds with their own. Well, because ultimately you and I know the real safe space is inside of our all-natural being. You and I have a safe space. If we don't treat ourselves like pincushions, we don't got to worry about it. If we don't treat ourselves that way, we don't have to worry about pins. And I applaud the University of Chicago for standing for those principles. It says, quote, "We've been deeply committed to the notion that we're here to learn from one another, to learn from the world, and to study things and figure out the answers. And the best way to do that is to hear, you ready for it? All sides of everything." Absolutely love it. Absolutely a fan of the concept of no more thin skin. Because think about it. When we talk about standing up for ourselves, when we talk, as we said in the anaerobic aphorism, right, we're kicking around this idea that what would happen if all you broke loose? Well, we can't do that if we have thin skin, because we're constantly worried that if all of us broke loose, well, what are we going to do? All these other opinions, all these other, like they gave me a dirty look. Well, let's just hunker down, please. So I applaud the University of Chicago. I truly do. For being the organization that says, you know what? Not going to happen anymore. We're not going to tolerate safe places, safe zones. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to go ahead and make you think on your feet. You want a safe zone? Take a deep breath. Remember who you ultimately are. Because ultimately, that's the only safe zone you and I have, is the fallback, the evolutionary leap back to who we are at our core. That's all we got. We weren't born with thin skin. We weren't born perforated to where the meanderings of other people could get through and knock us off whenever they felt like they liked it, whenever they wanted to. Because you'll find that the people that want to knock you off, the misery loves company, and they're not channeling their all-natural being, so they're going to do everything they can to make certain that you're not going to channel yours. Anything that you do, if you let your life go to your head, I vote yes. I vote yes. I'm here, not that you need my permission, but I'm here to give you permission to let your life, your run in the labyrinth, your time here in the garden of the mortals, let it go straight to your head. Let yourself, what if all you broke loose? I say that's what we do. We'll be right back.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. How much longer will you let them hijack your head and your heart?
Great question. How much you go longer? How much? They can only hijack our heart and our heads when we wear them on our sleeves. When we have a big sign on our chest that says, "Open, come on in, Vacancy, boy, there's one. Vacancy, but when you and I channel our all-natural being, when the marrow of our minds, Usinar, the poet Usinar, her quote, the sap of your soul, when that bubbles up, you don't get yourself a vacuum. Nothing to suck in. Nothing to get. Nothing to plan for. None of those things. What we do in this particular moment in all of time, when we channel who we ultimately are, there's no room for the bat crap crazy of the other people around us that are doing everything they can to pull us down. They're the ones suggesting, well, you better not let all you break loose. Well, I think you should. I think you absolutely should be in the position to go, yeah, you know what? It's time. Today's my day. As I've said before, today's my day. So what would you do? If that's the case, if today were really your day, what would you do about it? And even if you give yourself a 20-minute victory and you go, hey, what if you made it all about you? If you let your life go to your head? Seems to me like that would be a great way to spend 20 minutes. Just a thought. And as I say every time here on All Natural Being, if we do that, there's your litmus test. All these other people, buy my, if you have, let me teach you how to do this or this or this or this or this or this or this. And then what, you got a money-back guarantee? I'll give you a money-back guarantee right now. 1, don't send your money. 2, try it for 20 minutes. See if I'm not telling you the truth. See if I'm not telling you the truth. It's been my experience, and I've been studying this for 30 years now. 30 years. It's been my experience working with thousands of people. That when you block out all the people that have never had your best interests at heart, when you block them out, your all-natural being begins to bubble up. Your all-natural being begins to rise to the surface. Because your inner superhuman, your inner metahuman, it's not going to force itself out. It's an invitation. You have to invite it. What was it? Mark Twain said, habits as such cannot be flung out of an upstairs window, but must be coaxed down the steps one stair at a time. I'm in. Well, the same thing happens in that regard. Same thing happens with coaching our all-natural being out. It's just not going to jump out, rip open its chest. You got a big S going on there. No. What it's going to do is come out. 1 20-second victory at a time. One 20-minute victory at a time. Because who cares if I give you permission to let all you break loose? What your meta-human, what your superhuman, what your all-natural being is waiting for is your permission. Your permission. So how about giving it to yourself for 20 minutes? Give yourself permission to smile like you mean it. Give yourself permission to be hedonistic, to be narcissistic. 20 minutes, what can it do to us? Give yourself permission for 20 minutes. And wait and see how you feel at minute 21. Absolutely guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed that you're going to feel this. There's an article that I wanted to share with you this morning as well. Before we leave this thing, congratulations to the University of Chicago for standing up to these other higher bastions of intellectual cognitive ability, these higher ivory towers, the higher halls of education. What a boatload. You want to talk about microaggressions? Okay, let's just do this before, because clearly I'm not going to let it go. No, I'm not. How much? Well, so we want to talk about, okay, language matters, Brian. Language matters. If language really matters, you think you could come up with a term that didn't have the word matters in it? Right? That's a little bit of plagiarism. This matters, that matters, life matters. This one's life matters, that one's life matters. Everybody, right? Language matters. Oh, well, there's some good college dollars, tuition. There, that's working great. Come up with a different tagline. But let's forget that just for a moment. We're worried about microaggressions. Want to make sure that the language is helpful and inspiring and necessary and kind. Okay, how about turning those microaggressions inwardly? When you continue to dissolve what skin your students have left. What political correctness has continued is the cancer that it is. Just, why not just rub yourself in some kind of thinning product that just continues to make your skin thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. That's the microaggression. That's the micro assault. That's the micro insult. That's the micro invalidation. What are you doing to your students? What do you and I do to ourselves when we invalidate who we are? When you invalidate who we are, that's the big deal. But then we let these universities train the people that allegedly are going to be our future, our kids, the people in charge. Forget about the right to free speech. Now you got to have a speech that makes sure you're not insulting, invalidating, assaulting. But what are they doing to their own students? 331-684-7685, 331-684-SOUL. All right, I'm just getting a text saying, hey, you're not on air. Let me just say quickly, says, we are a go. Drops signal. I-G-N-A-L. Every E-V-E-R-Y, 10 seconds. Sorry, a little bit of housekeeping there. So we're going, and I'm just texting back to IPM Nation. If I was smart, I would get Matt on the air and go, hey, Matt, what's going on? Hey, let's try that. That'd be pretty cool. Let's try this. Let's just try it. It would be our first ever phone call, so that when you're listening later in the day, you'll be able to go, oh, wow, that was Brian's first call. So it says that, hello, Matt. Hello, Matt. Hey, listen, we're recording right now, so welcome. You're my first ever call-in guest here on All Natural Being. So what we're going to do, is that okay with you? I mean, I'm supposed to ask, right? You're the boss, but aren't I supposed to ask people?
Absolutely, that's fine.
I'm supposed to ask. All right, so here's the deal. We're going to keep going, because this has never happened to us before, right? This is like a first for you and me. So we're going to keep recording for the rebroadcast later. But here's the scoop. Everything was going great. Everything's fine. I checked my internet. Everything's good there. Upload, download speeds. But our broadcasting utility recounts to 10 seconds and then disconnects. So somewhere, because Comcast, when I did the speed test, said we've got a great signal, we're 90 some odd up, we're 90 down, 30 up, but every 10 seconds, the broadcast utility disconnects.
Well, from what I understand, the Comcast speed test doesn't mean anything.
Oh, well, look at you go. Hey, Matt, did I mention we're live, so now you're just throwing me on the bus, highlighting the fact that I'm technically illiterate? Thank you very much. Hey, you're breaking up, Matt. Jeez, let's get together and hang out when you're not busy calling me an idiot. All right, so the speed test thing doesn't matter. All right, that's good to know. I've only been doing it 100 and...
Yeah, because from what I understand, they always want you to think you have great internet because they always want you to be happy with their service.
Bastards.
But yeah, if you're doing independent speed test, you'll probably
Okay,
find that,
great.
there's something wrong.
Hey, you got nothing going on in life, so give me another one. What's an independent speed test? Give me one here. We'll publicly write it in. Hold on. This is, if this were TV, this would be an Emmy, right? This is breaking news, compelling content. What's another one? Give me one. Well, what's one other than Comcast?
What? Say it again, Brian.
Oh, that's okay, Matt. Oh, hey, everyone. Matt from IPM Nation, the guy you hear me brag about all the time. Hey, Matt, while we have you on, why did my headshot disappear for 2 days? Why was there a logo up?
Oh, you mean from the top 10?
Sure, why not? Why not? Let's talk about that. You got nowhere to go. It's not like this show's going out live. Okay, so what would be another speed test? Because, yeah, it goes for 10 seconds and then disconnects. Not a cloud in the sky, no wind blowing. It's a little warm in here, actually. No wind blowing. So it says we got good internet. But give me somewhere else, Matt, that we could test. What's another place?
Let's see, I'm looking. There's a website called speedtest.net.
Okay, stand by. www.speedtest.net. Well, you couldn't have heard this morning, but I did make mention of the fact, and thank you for checking. You should know Matt texted me to say, hey, is everything okay? We still have more listeners than Matthew McConaughey's latest film. Just so you know. Yeah, I thought so too. All right, $2,700 in the opening 5 days. Okay, I'm back, but speedtest.net, it says, okay, begin test. Here we are. Drum roll, please. Hold on, Matt. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're doing speed test. It says, wow, look at me. 97 download. Please stand by. 97 download speed. Yeah, every 10 seconds it's disconnecting, Matt. So hold on. So while I'm doing this, what else you got good for the listeners? Because there's poor people at 5 and 8 are going to be going, really? We had to go through your technical test? All right, so Matt, it says that I'm at 29 up. The ping says 30 ms, microseconds, I'm assuming, but what do I know? So it says we got, according to speedtest.net. Oh, well, this is also the first commercial I've ever done here, apparently, on the show. Yeah. Speedtest.net says we're 39.97 up.
Okay. Hang on. Looking up what a good speed is.
Yeah, let's do another one. Yeah, because this is the one we're hardwired in. This is the one we do every day. All right. Well, so while Matt's doing that, trying to figure out why no one's listening to this live anyways, again, now I have to also apologize that if you were listening, because of all the text I got, a ton of you were, and now if you're listening to the rebroadcast, it's a little behind the scenes. Matt teaching me how to use my own internet. So while Matt's doing that, let's just highlight the fact that this particular university that we were talking about for the internet so rudely interrupted us, talk about microaggressions, this particular university, the liberal bastion of education that it is, I'm not going to say the name, because if I did, then everyone that went to Rutgers would, I just said Rutgers. Forget I said Rutgers. I made it up. It's not Rutgers. Why would Rutgers do that? Anyone that went to Rutgers that wants to be a part of this bias prevention education team, telling people, oh no, please, we'd like to continue to encourage you to have thin skin so that when people say hurtful things, that was so hurtful. When people say hurtful things, heaven forbid we suggest that you have some thick skin. Heaven forbid that you actually have to be able to stand in the arena, square your shoulders and go, that's your opinion, it's not my opinion, so why do I care about your bat crap craziness? We have to do it. Hi, Matt, just feel free to jump in here anytime. Right? We have to do it, so now, you can't say anything mean to anyone. Let me say this, although the phone lines aren't open because apparently we don't have internet, please feel free to text me and offend me anytime you feel the need. Anytime. You could start off with hair lip jokes. You could make fun of my ethnicity. You could make fun, anything you want. Brian's open. This is a standing invitation to trolls. Say anything you like to about me. You know why it's not going to matter? Because it doesn't matter, right? Because when you channel your all-natural being and you have that natural thickness of your skin, then I guess you're not worried. You'll be proud of the people at University of Chicago and the good folks at Rutgers. Well, this will be the last time we mention their name ever on air, unless of course they figure out the initial cause of the universe or figure out what really happens at the other end of a black hole. Then I feel compelled that we might have to mention Rutgers' name again. But after I say Rutgers one more time, we will never say, and this is it, Rutgers. We will never say that name again. So for my friends and family that went to that university, I apologize for grouping you in. Still love you guys, but that's just craziness that even I can't. I can't even begin to wrap my head around. All right, Matt, thank you again for being our first ever call-in here on All Natural Being. Yeah, all right.
What did you say your upload speed was?
My upload speed is 39.97 currently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I don't know. That should be good. I guess.
Yeah, it's what we've used all along. So I just don't understand why it streams for 10 seconds, cuts itself out. streams for 10 seconds, cuts itself out. So it makes me wonder if there's something else in particular. Still says, connection established, iCast, MP3, bit rate, sample, and then it cuts itself off. So every 10 seconds, Matt, it kind of cycles through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That usually means there's a problem with the internet, but I'll try restarting the server here. I doubt if that's the problem, but you never know.
All right. Any weather? We could look at the weather channel. Any weather between you and me? It's interesting that I'm either not getting out or I'm getting bumped literally every 10 seconds. It's like freakish. Yeah. It's just I keep watching it roll, so I'm trying to avert my eyes, right? I'm trying to not be that guy in a traffic accident when traffic's backed up for miles and you pull up and you have to look over to see, now you have to be that guy that's backing up traffic for 30 miles on a Friday night. I'm trying not to be that guy, so I'm not even looking over at the fact that it just happened again. So every 10 seconds, it's disconnecting me rhythmically from what we're doing. All right, Matt, we're going to go ahead and bail just so for the people listening on the rebroadcast, they think they don't think, oh, wow, I listened just for Brian, how to use your internet 101. But thank you very much, Matt, for being our first ever caller. And I'm not allowed to mention the R word again, but I'll send you the link, a particular university that wants to make sure that but I should say, Matt, Chicago University, not one of them. They're not going to give safe zones. If you come to college, it's Chicago University. You better bring your A game and be able to defend your position. If you go to this other particular college, no, they don't want you saying nasty things to anyone, right? We don't want microaggressions. Heaven forbid. So, all right, Matt, thank you so much, brother. If you would, once you restart, unless you have an opinion, now that you're on, do you have an opinion about microaggressions?
Yeah, I think it's all silly. I think, I mean, that seems to be the trend at colleges. Everyone, just in general, the political correctness, and you've got the social justice warriors who are looking for any excuse to be upset about anything. And what they don't understand is they're creating a society where everyone feels like they have to walk on eggshells, and you can't solve any of our problems if people don't feel that they can have an open and honest dialogue. So they've created a bigger problem than they could ever hope to solve, but they don't get it.
Wow, Matt, did you ever think of having your own radio show? That was brilliant.
I'm considering it.
You should know Matt has a terribly popular show on IPM Nation. So that was perfectly put. Everyone's busy walking around on eggshells. But but here's the downside. No one's getting any omelets, right? No one's getting any scrambled egg dishes out of it. Everyone's worried, and so now you can't say anything. But more importantly, Matt, we're raising an entire generation of people that are soon going to become the leaders. Heaven help us all. That are going to be the leaders here, and this is how they're being trained. Oh, yeah. Microaggressions. And all I asked earlier before you logged in or called in was that what about how those microaggressions are directed at the very people going to those schools? Because you're not sending them out into the real world. You teach people to believe political correctness is the way to go. Wait till you get out in nature. Nature doesn't give a crap about you. And that's what the real world is. So we're raising an entire generation of people that go, oh, you better only say nice things. The article said, we want to make sure you only say kind, inspiring, true things. All right, we've been kicking this around for a while. So, Matt, I'll let you go. Will you send me a text if after you reboot, and then I'll give you a call here in a little bit. Maybe you can walk me through some of the settings, see if there's something else that's done. But this is the same speed and the same settings that I've used for the last 50 shows probably since we moved to this studio. So, all right, Matt, thank you so much. I super appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
All right, brothers. Okay, so again, if you're listening to the taped version, sorry about all of that, but let's get into a couple more studies before we get out of here. We'll do a quick break, and we'll be right back is my goal. Who knows, though, right?
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Because it's never too late to take your life back.
Never too late to take your life back. Never too late to get your internet back, I'm hoping, but that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. This is a technical glitch. Houston, we have a problem. technical glitch somewhere. So for those of you that listened in, thank you for listening to my first ever caller here on the show, which all I did is when he called in on the iPhone, I held it up to my microphone. Maybe that's a good way of getting about. Well, we'll hear later if that works. So if you listen tonight at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., let me know if you think that worked. But we're going to do it in a much more, there's soundboards involved, all this kind of cool stuff. We're going to do it in a much more professional way. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Study out Science Daily. You know how I am about Science Daily. Love them. Some great studies. But here's one that says that meditation, and this is from the scientists at the school over at medicine at Mount Sinai, said, guess what? Meditation, even better for you than going on vacation. And everyone goes, oh, vacation, we know what that's like. That's something cool. Yeah, but what they found in their studies says, quote, it's intuitive that taking a vacation reduces biological processes related to stress, but it was still impressive to see the large changes in gene expression from being away from the busy place in life in a relaxing environment in such a short period of time. So wait a minute. Getting away from a busy environment, there's your meditation. Breathe in, exhale, scan your situation, then take action. Quote, based on our results, the benefit we experience from meditation isn't strictly psychological. There is a clear and quantifiable change in how our bodies function. So when we talked before about what's it gonna take for you to let for all you to break loose, meditation is one of those ways to begin. Not just good for you psychologically, but it's good for you physically. It's good for you spiritually. It's good for you at every level. If your body operates on a level, meditation is good for it. End of discussion. That's how it works. So fantastic article. I'll go ahead and throw a link up here in a little bit if that's something that you'll be interested in. I'll put it up over at Facebook. But it basically says everything you and I talk about all the time. Being your own best friend, taking a breath or two, focusing on what? Focusing on letting your life go to your head. I love it. And now the doctors at Mount Sinai do as well, because I say, oh, wow, this is really, really something else. All right. Now, another article. This was in Time. I saw this and was like, wow, everyone's going to dig this. Mindfulness is more than just the latest fad, according to the article. Let me scroll that up there. It says that your left brain, according to this article, is a liar. Quote, my grandmother didn't like the word liar. She felt it was too harsh. Maybe she went over to the university with the R. Harsh. I got to let this go. Right? Oh, those words are too harsh. They're too harsh. They're too caustic. She used to say people were just telling stories. That's what she says. She goes, oh, I'm just telling a story. I'm not lying. I'm just telling a story. But it says that's what the left side of your brain does constantly, right? It's a Hollywood script writer. Now, the right side of your brain sees things pretty concretely, which always is a red flag for me because we can't describe what concrete is. Talk to a physicist. We don't know what concrete is, but, don't worry. The right side of your brain can absolutely figure out the concrete. Quote, but that guy to his left is always weaving tales to try to make sense of the information coming in. That's its job. Interviews one of the top cognitive neuroscientists that just talks about how great it is to understand that the map is not the territory. Lefty, as he calls him, doesn't have perfect information. And sometimes he's too clever for his own good. The right brain, according to the article, everyone at the table is frowning. They're not laughing at our brilliant jokes. Left brain, obviously they hate us. They're plotting our death. Let's just ignore them. Let's just ignore them. When we do our own meditation, this just in from Matt. I tried connecting myself, same issue. So the problem is somewhere within the server at Radio Jar. I'm going to open up a help ticket with them right now. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll let you know what I find out. Film at 11. So I'm really sorry that, hey, but you know what? Look at the bright side. Was it my fault? I knew how to work my own internet. All these shows, now it's someone else. I accept full responsibility, so please accept my apology. I want to be glib about it, right? Please accept my apology. They had a difficult time, and I hope if you're listening tonight at either 5 or 8 or tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., that there was still some great content in the show, and that I didn't just didn't ramble on trying to get an internet lesson, but it shows me how easy the calls were. All right, so let's just go back to this. Let's just go back to talking about how meditation is a great way to blend your left and your right minds. I think that's the gist of the article. It's a great way to blend the left and the right. So that when we breathe in, exhale, scan our horizons, and then take action, we don't go for all that craziness. We don't go for all that craziness. So for me and for you, I'm simply suggesting that outside of that craziness, you have every right to be in awe of yourself. You have every right to let your life go to your head. To be who you truly are. Left brain, right brain, all your body, your all-natural being, outside of all the worry, all the concern of what would happen if you let yourself break loose. Outside all of that is your inner happiness, your inner ability to smile like you mean it, to thrive like you know who you are, where you are. And as we said yesterday about nature and fate being a bully, to know what you're up against. Because when you know what you're up against, life is an absolutely great gig because it's a challenge. You're in the game and you're going to win. All right, my friends, we're going to go ahead and jump out of here. I apologize for all the craziness that went on into today's show, but I also want to let you know that we will work out with Radio Jar, see what's going on. See what the help ticket tells us. We've pre-recorded the show, so if you listen to it tonight, you'll be like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't hear any of that going on. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you once again. Sorry about the technical glitches. We'll get on top, but do yourself a favor today. 1 20-minute victory, 1 72nd of your day. Let your life, let who you are go straight to your head. Be proud of yourself. No paths to enlightenment. No travails to a higher consciousness. Let your life go to your head right now. For 20 minutes, be a narcissist. Be a hedonist. 20 minutes, because what's our definition? As long as we're not hurting someone else. Why can't we, in the comfort of our own mind, be our own biggest fan? Be our own best friend. Get off our backs once every so often. How about 20 minutes a day? You know, they're scalable. They're stackable. Do a 20-minute victory. They're yours. Take them. Guarantee. It's going to put a smile on your face. Absolutely guaranteed. All right, again, let me apologize. Apologies. But we're going to work on this. We're going to figure out what's going on over at Radio Jar. We'll be back tomorrow. And look, if it's not worked out by tomorrow, I'm going to re-record it anyway, so I promise we're not going to have any glitches in tomorrow's show. All right, we're going to get out of here. Make it an absolutely fantastic day. Let all you loose. All right, love you guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.
Bring your own bold. Let yourself, all of yourself, break loose. Have a fantastic day.
IPMNation.com